Swiss made. When you see those two words on a watch, you think perfection, heritage, a master watchmaker in the Alps spending decades perfecting every single gear. But here's the uncomfortable truth. There's a high chance that watch is only about 60% Swiss, and the rest could be made in China, Thailand, India. That's completely legal. Now, before you think this is some conspiracy or scandal, it's not. This is literally written into Swiss law. And I'll be honest with you, I've been around watches for 15 years, collecting, buying, handling thousands of pieces, and until recently, I only understood this at a surface level. So here's what we're doing today. I pulled the actual Swiss-made regulations and we're going to work through them together, not to create outrage, but to understand what Swiss-made actually means, how the system works, and what that means for collectors like us. Maybe you're watching this because you already own Swiss watches and you're curious about your collection. Or maybe, and I think this is most of you, you've been saving for your first Swiss piece. You've got your eye on something at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Either way, you deserve to know what Swiss made guarantees and what it doesn't. By the end, you'll understand exactly what you're paying for when you see those two words on a dial. No agenda, no hot take, just understanding the rules of the game. And full transparency, for those new to this channel, I own a ton of Swiss watches and I've handled thousands over the years. After doing this research, I look at all of them differently. Not worse, just differently. And I think you will too. So let's start by reading what the regulations actually state. According to Swiss law, for a watch to qualify for the designation, 60% of its manufacturing cost must be incurred in Switzerland. And the technical development has to take place there as well. When I first read that, I remember thinking, okay, that sounds reasonable. A majority is a majority. Then something jumped out at me. That sentence is all about cost, not the actual parts, not where they were produced. And that distinction matters more than I realized at the time. When I first encountered this, I assumed cost was basically a proxy for location, that if most of the money was being spent in Switzerland, most of the work must be happening there too. That assumption doesn't hold up. Let me explain. You see, labor in Switzerland is expensive, roughly 3 times more expensive than labor in countries like China, and even more compared to places like India or Thailand. So imagine a simplified example. Let's say a component cost $10 to manufacture overseas. That same component might cost $30 to assemble, regulate, and inspect in Switzerland. On paper, you've now spent $40 total, 30 of which happened in Switzerland. That means 75% of the manufacturing cost is Swiss, even though the physical manufacturing happened somewhere else. But leaving the manufacturing in Switzerland would have cost far more overall. When I worked through that math for the first time, I had to stop and sit with it for a second. And then realize the designation wasn't talking about where things were made, it's more of where money was spent. And those two are very different. The same logic applies to movements. The regulation says the movement must be made in Switzerland. That sounds definitive until you look at how the law defines it. Legally, that requirement is satisfied if the movement is assembled in Switzerland, not manufactured from raw components, assembled. That means parts can be produced elsewhere, shipped in, and then put together, adjusted, and inspected inside Switzerland, and yet still meet the requirement. For example, a gear train can be manufactured abroad, shipped to Switzerland, installed into the movement, and regulated there. At that point, it qualifies. This isn't hidden, it's just how the system is written. Now, if you're shopping for your first Swiss watch, especially in that $3,000 to $4,000 range, this part matters. Based on what we just talked through, it's unlikely that everything inside that watch was manufactured in Switzerland. But that doesn't mean it's poorly made, and it doesn't mean you're making a bad decision. It means the designation guarantees Swiss assembly, quality control, and development, but not total geographic purity. Understanding that up front helps set expectations without taking away the excitement of the purchase you've worked so hard toward. So this isn't just theoretical language buried in legal documents. The real question is, do brands actually operate this way in practice? To answer that, we need to look at what the industry executives themselves say publicly. So what do people inside the industry say about this system? Do brands actually operate this way in practice, or is this just a technical possibility that rarely gets used? Roman Marietta from Zenith put it very plainly. He said, if you have everything manufactured in Switzerland, the watches will always be more and more expensive in terms of the selling price at the end. That's not an expose, that's economics. What he's really describing is a trade-off brands have to make. Either you manufacture everything domestically and accept that your watches will be priced far beyond most buyers, or you work within the flexibility of the regulations and remain accessible to a broader audience. Most brands choose the second option. Stefan Wazer, the CEO of Maurice Lacroix, was even more explicit. He said, below $5,000 to $10,000, it is impossible today, with the cost of labor and goods, to be 100% Swiss made. There are very few watch brands doing this. That matters, especially if you're shopping in that range. It tells you that what we talked through earlier isn't some fringe case, it's the norm. And some brands are unusually open about it. Frederic Constant is a good example. Their CEO, Niels Egerding, has openly discussed sourcing cases from Asia. He's described those factories as super top-notch, and instead of hiding that reality, he's leaned into it. That sourcing strategy is part of how the brand has been able to offer complicated watches, perpetual calendars, and tourbillons at prices that were almost unheard of not that long ago. Whether you like that approach or not, there's a level of honesty there. Now, this is where things get more complicated. Egerding has also said that he's personally seen cases being manufactured in Asian factories that appeared to be for major Swiss brands, including Omega. That claim was flatly denied by Mark Hayak, an executive at the Swatch Group. Someone is telling the truth and someone isn't, and I don't have an answer for that. But I do know what this disagreement reveals, just how deeply integrated international manufacturing has become within Swiss watch supply chains. One reason it's so difficult to verify claims like this is just the way sourcing works. Many suppliers operate under strict non-disclosure agreements. Middlemen are contractually required not to name clients, and components pass through several hands before they ever reach Switzerland. That silence isn't evidence of wrongdoing, it's just how global manufacturing functions. There's also a structural factor that makes this system viable. In 2014, Switzerland signed a free trade agreement with China. Among other things, it reduced import tariffs on components to 0%. Practically speaking, that means parts can be manufactured abroad, shipped into Switzerland, assembled there, and incorporated into watches that legally qualify for the designation. Again, this isn't a secret. Most buyers just never get the full explanation. And that brings us to an interesting question. If this is the system and it's widely used, how do people inside Switzerland feel about it? Because definitely not everyone is comfortable with where the designation has landed. One CEO decided to make a statement. In 2017, Edward Milan, the CEO of H. Moser & C., removed the words Swiss made from every one of his dials. This wasn't a cost savings move, obviously. H. Moser produces around 4,000 watches a year. They manufacture in Switzerland. They even produce their own hairsprings. This is something only a handful of brands in the world can do. In fact, they are one of the few 100% vertically integrated Swiss watch manufacturers, which is what makes his move not only ironic, but a true statement to the industry. Because by every measurable standard, they exceed the requirements. And yet, Milan said the term had become meaningless. He explained it this way: I don't think our industry did a good job of explaining the criteria for this qualification. Making people believe a watch with the mark is 100% made in Switzerland. The majority of people who buy a watch for those two words have no idea what it means, and I don't think it's fair. That's the heart of this entire discussion. It's not that the rules exist, it's that what the label sounds like and what it legally guarantees are two different things. Milan's decision was largely symbolic. Most brands continue to use the designation because it still carries enormous market value. Imagine that. But his protest raised a question that hasn't gone away. And if you're shopping for your first Swiss watch and hearing all of this, you might be wondering whether it's even worth pursuing. That reaction makes sense. This kind of information can feel deflating when you've been saving for months, maybe years towards a goal. But understanding the system doesn't mean Swiss watches aren't worth buying. It means you can make an informed decision. Knowing this lets you approach the purchase with clarity, ask smarter questions, do better research, and set realistic expectations. It was worth it for me with my first piece, but I just wish I'd understood the system more clearly at the time. That debate is still very much alive inside Switzerland. So here's what all of this means for you as a buyer. First, understand what you're actually evaluating. Swiss made isn't a geographic promise. It's a cost-weighted legal framework that preserves Swiss assembly, development, and quality control while accommodating global manufacturing. Most buyers don't know this. They see those two words and assume everything was made in Switzerland. That assumption creates confusion. So what we're really talking about isn't deception, it's interpretation. Components can be legally manufactured internationally. Labor cost differences mean the 60% threshold can be met even when significant manufacturing happens elsewhere. And tracing exact origins often impossible due to supply chain confidentiality, which brings us to the tactical question. What does this mean at different price points? Below $5,000, you're very likely getting significant non-Swiss components. The economics simply don't work otherwise. Between $5,000 and $10,000, it varies dramatically by brand. Some are genuinely committed to domestic manufacturing and others are maximizing margins. Without additional certifications or transparent sourcing information, you won't know which is which. Above $10,000 and your odds improve. But even at this level, nothing is guaranteed without a Geneva seal, which goes beyond the requirements. Basically, 100% of the movement must be manufactured in Canton of Geneva. Or even way beyond is the Qualité Fleurier, where everything, I mean every single part of the watch, is 100% inside of Switzerland. So how do brands respond to this reality? Some are unusually transparent, like Frederic Constant, who openly discusses Asian sourcing. While most stay silent, they meet the legal requirements but don't volunteer details about their supply chain. And a few, like H. Moser, reject the designation entirely because they believe it misleads buyers, which leaves you with a choice. Does understanding the flexibility behind Swiss made change what you're willing to pay? Is the heritage, the design, the craftsmanship that is there still worth the price once you understand what the label doesn't guarantee? That's something you have to answer for yourself. Here's how I think about it. I process all of this as someone who's been in this world for 15 years. And if you're newer to this, maybe it'll help you think it through also. These are all Swiss made. And what surprised me wasn't disappointment. It was that understanding the reality didn't diminish what these pieces mean to me at all. When I think about why I bought these or why I bought my first Swiss watch years ago, it wasn't because I'd verified the geographic origin of every component. It was the aesthetic, the heritage, the story behind the brand, and the feeling of wearing something that connected me to a tradition I admired. Distilled down, how it makes me feel when I put it on. Long Thune once said, "We're all buying a story, buying the watch for the romantic feeling, and she's right. That's true whether it's your 10th watch or your first. But here's where my thinking has shifted. Based on the price realities we just discussed, if your budget is in that range where many first-time buyers land, don't look at it as a failure. You're getting Swiss assembly, quality control, design, and the heritage of the label. You're probably not getting 100% domestic manufacturing though, and that's okay as long as you understand this. The watch can still be excellent. The movement, reliable. The experience, meaningful. My first Swiss piece was exactly like that, and I still value it deeply. I just understand it better now. That understanding has changed how I evaluate brands. When a brand is open about its sourcing, even when the answer is we produce some parts in Asia, that earns my respect. I value honesty over silence. Again, there are also additional certifications that can add reassurance. Just be prepared to pay for them. Vacheron, Chopard, and Cartier's fine watchmaking division all have the Geneva seal. Notice how Rolex isn't on that list? I'm just more curious now. Not aggressive and not distrustful, just genuinely interested in how a watch is made and how a brand talks about it. So that's what Swiss made actually means, legally, specifically, and in practice. It's not a conspiracy and it's not a betrayal. Long was right. We're buying stories and heritage and craftsmanship, decades of accumulated expertise. This is the kind of analysis that you won't find anywhere else in the watch world, not from brands and not from most creators. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. It helps get our content to a larger audience. And if this changed how you think about Swiss made, or if you're still processing it, let me know in the comments. I'm curious what you guys think about this. Also, go check out thewatchbros.com to win a free watch every month. You heard me right. We give away a watch every single month because we actually want you wearing great watches. Swiss made, Japanese, and even American made. Go to the website and explore. We have links to all of our social media, merch, and memberships. I'm Jason. Thanks for watching. Until next time, wear in good health.